Hello and welcome to the Alabama Renaissance Faire channel. Today we have a very unusual situation going on. We're out in the field, live. As you can tell, we're going to be talking about bees and how important they are. My special guest today is Dr. Padgett.
Hello.
So where do we want to start with this? You brought some stuff here. Would you explain each one?
In my hands, I do have some items that are associated with beekeeping. Since this is the Alabama Renaissance Faire channel, the first thing I'll show you is actually the queen box. You've come out to the Renaissance Faire, you'll see a queen, but in this case we're talking about the queen of the beehive. And when you order bees, she'll come in a box like this. That way she can get used to her new hive and her new subjects, if we're staying within that same metaphor, which comes in a box like this. And in a box this size, we'll have somewhere to about 30,000 bees located in a box this size.
So they just pack them in really like sardines?
Right. Okay. This is about a 3-pound box. You measure bees by weight because no one's going to count out 30,000 individual bees. But yeah, the box will be completely full and capped off with a queen inside so that the new hive can get used to their new queen.
Okay, now do they smell her or do they recognize her by sight?
By smell. Bees
okay.
operate a lot by smell, which is one reason why I hope you don't scream while we're out here. Because they will respond to the carbon dioxide that you exhale, okay. And that's how they will communicate.
Okay.
That and dancing, which we also will not do.
I have seen that on TV about the dancing and stuff, and I have heard they had for the distance. They will go back and they'll dance around for the distance of where the flowers are that they can go to.
Distance, direction. They can tell precise locations all through dance.
Okay. Have you seen the dance yourself with your bees?
Possibly. Usually when I'm working with the bees, I'm not really paying attention to their dancing, more so than their movements to make sure that they're healthy and are responding correctly.
Okay. I would have to set up the video camera and then go back in the house and just hit record and watch them, because I've seen the pictures of their little butts sticking out of the flowers and the pollen, and I just think that is so cool to see, because to me, bees are very important.
Yes.
And I absolutely love the honey. So what other types of bees is there around, and what kind, and the history of bees? Where do these originate from, these types of honeybees? Honeybees.
Honeybees originate in Southeast Asia many thousands of years ago. And then they come westward. The bees that we're familiar with here in the United States are usually those that were naturalized in Europe. We're also seeing a lot of the Africanized bees, which were naturalized in Africa. But the behaviors changed because of the environmental pressures. So Africanized bees are more aggressive, which is one reason that, especially beekeepers here in Alabama are trying to take care to make sure that we don't introduce Africanized bees into our area. So most of the ones that you'll see around here are usually Italian bees or some version, a hybridized version of Italian bees.
Okay, the African bees, is that the one that escaped some lab in South America?
Yes.
Is that what okay.
Yes, in Brazil.
Okay.
And then slowly started migrating northward up through Texas.
Okay.
So we're starting to see them here in the U.S., but not in our area here in Alabama.
Okay.
Coming into Alabama, the honeybees came to Alabama in the 1800s, mostly with the colonists, and that's just because in Europe, honeybees are a vital part of life. Honeybees are documented in Europe for a couple thousand years. If you have a sweet tooth, then honey plays a big role because there was no sugar.
Love honey.
Also, depending on which period we're talking with climate change, grapes couldn't necessarily be grown in the north, so you had to make alcohol of something else, which honey made mead.
Right.
And so that was a source of alcohol for Northern Europe, Scandinavia, the British Isles. So it plays a vital role. But also honey is an antiseptic, so you can treat wounds with it without worrying about infections. And the beeswax burns purer than fat candles, like candles made from tallow.
Yes.
And so the church actually has mandates about using wax candles rather than tallow candles. So the bee provides humans with so many different things.
Now I know in honey there's different colors. Now
Yes.
is that the flowers that's causing the different colors or the bee itself?
That's the flowers.
Flowers.
Here in the South, we tend to eat a lighter colored honey, and that comes from clover or orange blossoms. In Europe, you'll see a darker color honey, and that may be coming from something like lavender or heather, and you'll have a darker honey.
I bet I'll have a dark honey in this area too, so
Right.
I was just wondering, was it a different type of bee and stuff?
Different kind of plants will produce different kinds of honey, which I always advocate eating local honey because it's made from the plants you're exposed to. And while science is still debating its benefits, if you're eating honey made from the plants that you're around, I'm sure it does have some kind of impact on allergies and everything else.
Right. Now is this an expensive hobby to get into?
Yes. It's a very expensive and addictive hobby to get into. Of course, I guess it really depends on how you define expensive. You could probably set up about 2 hives, the hive boxes with bees, for about $500, which, I mean, I define as expensive.
Okay. I have seen a few of the boxes where you can, little knob and you turn it.
Yes.
And some people say don't do that, that's horrible, it's bad. So I don't know if it's good or not. I'm not making an opinion because I have no
Right.
idea. Now, you had mentioned the earlier hives. Now they're rounded.
Correct.
What is that called? What is the correct term?
Those were called skeps,
Skeps.
and those are the ones that you'll see usually on any kind of graphic logo, and they look like an inverted bowl. They were actually created basket style. You take long grasses and make rope, and then those ropes were coiled together and they came up. And that's how the bees were originally kept in what we think of as a hive. There's no frames inside. The bees would create their own frames, they'd draw their own comb, and to access it you would actually have to take the bottom off, and which would destroy the hive and kill most of those bees.
Okay.
Now, most of the time they would keep one alive to overwinter, and then they would swarm and split off because the skeps are fairly small, and which is what they wanted them to swarm, so that would repopulate. Modern beekeepers, and actually here in Alabama that's illegal. We use hives with frames in it so that it causes less damage to the hive than ripping the insides out.
So we want to keep the bees safe, and we've heard all the reports of what's going on. And please don't hurt little bees. They're so cute. They make tasty little treats for us.
Right.
So I guess right now we need to suit up. So we're going to hit pause for a second, and then I'm going to continue suiting up, and you're going to help me out, would you?
Definitely.
Okay. All right, we're back now. We are here, and the roof and the super, okay. It's been taken off.
And so what I'll do now is I'll just remove one to enter frames for you,
Okay.
so that you can see what it looks like when we're doing our hive inspections. So you can see all the bees that are on here. You can see down there at the bottom, they've drawn out some comb. And you see the darker color up here. They're capping off the honey, and they have their brood where they're laying eggs. And both sides of the frame will look the same.
Absolutely beautiful to see this up close and personal.
And throughout, especially European history, the honeybee has always been one of the symbols for hard work. Kingdoms have always used it, where you had the monarch, you had the queen, you had all the workers trying to move the kingdom forward, just like the hive works together to move the hive forward. You can see how industrious they are, how they're all working their assigned jobs and working toward a common goal, which is the survival of the hive.
So what if one accidentally gets squished? Do they attack because of that, or do they even know that?
They will definitely know. If you'll notice, I'm going as slow as I possibly can to make sure that I don't smush any of them. But bee casualties do occur, just like in human life. Unfortunately, humans die, bees do as well, and they respond in the same way. They're always just working for the common good of the hive.
Now, how long will this hive last if untouched? If we don't touch the honey?
What do you mean by last? As survival?
Yeah.
The bees don't necessarily need us. We do work together, and we have for thousands of years. So they do like to work with us because we do provide them with safety, and we provide them with access to pollen. But if we weren't here, the bees would still go about their daily jobs. They know what to do, and they know how to take care of themselves.
And what is their natural predator? Any other insects?
In this area, because honeybees are not native to Alabama, there are some natural predators. Other honeybees can come by and raid the hive for honey.
Okay.
But skunks also sometimes like to eat honeybees, and they'll come up and scratch on the hive and eat them. Or any animal that may want to access the honey, which could be other insects as well, can be a threat. Here we do have to worry about hive beetles and wax moths and mites. For us, those are usually the three big things that we have to worry about more than other predators.
Okay. We don't have bears just in this area right here where we're at right now.
Right. The biggest threat to the honeybees actually is going to be humans, where we spray too many pesticides and insecticides, or we kill bees because we don't understand the function they play.
And what is the black things in those things?
Those are actually traps for hive beetles.
Okay.
Just to make sure that I keep the hive healthy. I have the traps on there to make sure I catch them before they become a problem.
Oh, okay. That is really incredible.
Thank you. They work hard for it.
Guys, I wish you guys could be here to see this, but this is pretty incredible. And
well, hopefully they will come out to the Alabama Renaissance Fair, and I'll be there to talk more about honeybees and about candle making using beeswax. And I hope to have some making tapes so that the children can make their own candles that they can go home and use and remember what they learned about honeybees.
what I might try to do is see if we can stop the camera, and then I will turn it back on and just do a quick shot of this right here if I can. And here we are, up close and personal. Sorry guys, it's really hard to do this in a bee suit.